Live. Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Too Sweet Converse. We're on episode 13. 13 with a dream. I am your boy, Nico. What up?
Hey everyone, Steve-O here.
Wild card. What up, peeps?
EJV here. Too sweet, everybody.
All right, everybody. So, we have a nice little episode going on. I want to make a quick correction to last week's Cosplayer of the Week. His handle is Sam Hain 113, but his actual name is Mark T. We were referring to him as Sam. That is an apology I just want to quickly issue. But starting off the show, we're going to talk about some Bullet Club, the inspiration of the Too Sweet cosplay. Evil has not only joined the Bullet Club, but he is now the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I'm going to let my colleagues get a little into this discussion and share their thoughts about this awesome development. Who would like to start this off first?
I will gladly.
Here, man.
EJB, go for it.
No, look at this guy. Oh, let me jump in right away.
Oh, come on. You know this is my stuff, guys. But to me, I thought I saw online after the event had concluded and we saw what happened with Evil. A lot of people, of course, were kayfabe upset in the sense, part of the whole shock and awe of what happened. But there was a lot of people who were upset with the way the booking was done. To me personally, first off, congratulations to Evil on winning both belts. It's big. He finally gets the big titles because he's been long overdue for a title like this. He's been long overdue for a run like this. To me, I thought they did an excellent job executing everything from the turn that they built throughout the Cup, with Evil hitting those low blows and doing stuff with the referee's back turned or down on the floor. To the whole point with the fist changing into the Too Sweet and then dropping Naito where he stood. I thought that was picture perfect. I thought it was phenomenal. New Japan definitely knows how to build a story and build, to a big crescendo like they did. And as far as Evil, as far as himself, I thought he looked great. I thought he looked phenomenal. His new look and his new entrance theme, by the way, are phenomenal. If you guys haven't seen the show, you guys got to check it out. Both English shows are on NewJapanWorld.com. But yeah, I'm just excited to see where this takes us as far as Evil goes. So yeah, congratulations to the champ, and now Bullet Club is officially Evil.
Evil, you say?
Evil.
Who is gonna go next on this one? All right, wild card.
Wait.
You see me waving here?
Yeah, okay. What the
Oh
eighth?
man. Wait. What up? All right, never mind.
Go ahead. I'm fucking with
All
you.
right.
Go.
That was a shocker, man. Just to see that happen. But in a way, it made sense. Because if you think about it, Bullet Club is actually a little separated at the moment. A lot of the guys in Japan right now are stuck in Japan. And then guys like Tama Tonga, guys like Jay White, guys like Kenta, I believe, are stuck in the States. So essentially Bullet Club is separated right now. So with those guys not being able to fly over to Japan for obvious reasons, it kind of puts them at a little bit of a divide right now. And as we all know, when they're divided, you think that they do the whole divide and conquer, thing. But I think for the most part that it kind of weakens their the front a little bit. So they needed to add somebody to the mix, especially in Japan right now. And who better than Evil, because everything is Evil. But I really did enjoy the whole, what happened with him and turning on LIJ and, the whole thing with him, throwing up the Too Sweet and then just totally just destroying Naito with his move there and then proceeding to win not only beat Naito, but to win the IWGP Heavyweight title and the Intercontinental title. I mean, that's huge. That essentially puts Bullet Club back on top, which is something that was missing for a long time, because I think for a while it was almost, I don't want to say forgotten, but they just needed something to get them back to where they used to be. And I think this move essentially does that too. Now, how eventually will go later on in the future, we don't know yet. But all I know is that Evil is at the top with Bullet Club right now, and I say congratulations to him, and too sweet.
Before we get to the next topic, Nico, you got any thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, like the rest of the gentlemen, the rest of my colleagues said here, I was very surprised. That was one where I was just like, whoa. Unfortunately, I wasn't watching the tournament. I was looking in on it from time to time. I was conversating with E frequently about it. I was watching YouTube reviews from a bunch of people who did like reviews of each day of the tournament, etc. And I was very surprised. But it was a welcome surprise, because it was one of those, the one good thing that New Japan Pro Wrestling does. And this is why I think people are like, oh, New Japan is better than WWE. They're the best wrestling in the entire world, etc., etc. I'm not going to argue that or debate that, because that's an open discussion. But the one thing New Japan does really well is they know how to build a story. And when they start to build a story, barring a freak injury or a holy shit moment, they stick to their shit from the beginning. So the fact that they were building it with, Evil being more aggressive with his, style during the tournament, and then the big surprise, which nobody saw coming, because I firmly believe if there was one person who was in a tag team that deserves to be the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, or at least going for that title, it's Tama Tonga. I've said that for years. Tama even teased it a little bit during before the start of this tournament. And honestly, the tweet that he put out during this tournament about is the state of wrestling that bad right now, right before Evil did this turn, I think that tweet makes a lot more sense now. I really do. But I'm really happy with how it went down, because it was a big surprise. I'm interested to see what they do from here. Is there going to be dissension between Evil and Jay White, when he's able to come back to Japan? Kenta, because you kind of felt like Jay White and Kenta were going to be the leaders, even though they say there is no leader in the Bullet Club. But, whatever. I just don't know. I'm interested to see what they do. Happy for Evil. He's been been with them for a long time. I originally had Sonata winning the tournament. I'm glad his former partner, won the tournament. Didn't see it coming. Welcome surprised. And I'm interested to see what they do next.
Can I just want to add something to
Sure.
what Joe was saying. It's funny you should bring that up, because I was actually listening to Tama Tonga's podcast, Tama's Island, which I highly recommend you guys listen to. But he actually talked about Evil winning both titles and joining BC in the process. And he had mentioned that Jay White and Kenta did not offer any kind of congratulations to Evil on their Twitter accounts or any social media at all, almost essentially silent, and possibly hinting at a potential divide between Bullet Club. So, I mean, that's just something to think about there.
That is true, because, and I don't mean to cut you off there, Andy, but that is true, because, Jay White has been radio silent, because as soon as that happened, a bunch of people started coming from Jay White. Because what's a common thread that happens in Bullet Club when somebody new joins? Who's ever in charge, their time's limited. There's one thing, Tom even posted a tweet. We had the Prince Deva era. Then you had, the I forgot, they didn't call it the AJ Styles era.
They call it the Phenomenal era.
Yeah, they went from the Prince era to the Phenomenal era to the Elite era to the cutthroat era. What's the common denominator? The common denominator has always been, Bullet Club still standing, but somebody gets, exiled, so to speak.
Somebody gets backstabbed right there.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see who it is. I honestly would prefer it to be Jay White, even though I love Switchblade. But I honestly would prefer it to be him, just because when he first turned heel and joined the Bullet Club, it just didn't seem right. Like, I would have rather seen. I know they did it to get him over on Okada. Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. But then you got fucking Gato turning on Okada, which I was just like, okay, why not just have Okada go on his own and then just have Jay White wrestle Okada one-on-one? I know I'm ranting, but it's just certain little things that I wish they would kind of clean up a bit. But that's just me.
Fair enough. Yep. Bullet Club going strong, and will be interesting to see where it goes. The next topic we're going to be on to.
Wait, real quick. I still do think Tama Tonga deserves a shot as IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, on to the next topic. So on Conan's podcast, Keeping It 100, shout out to K-Dog there. He mentioned that CM Punk had actually asked for quite a bit of money to come to AEW when he was speaking with Cody. There was no specifics, like no salary amount, dates offered, etc. And most recently, Cody Rhodes has confirmed that he had a pretty high asking price to join All Elite Wrestling. So it's not going to be forever off the table, but for right now, it does appear that obviously it's on hold. And recently, WWE Backstage was canceled, a show that Punk was a semi-contributor on there, part-time, I should say. So what do you guys think? Do you think that AEW should consider breaking the bank to have CM Punk on there? And what kind of a role would you like to see? Who would like to start this topic off? Nico, would you like to start it off, as you're a good friend of his? You're on mute, by the way.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I was getting ready to say, like, you motherfuckers better give me the ball here. This is my play. All right, anyhow, you guys know how close I am. Well, I shouldn't say that I'm, like, really good friends with CM Punk. We're good acquaintances. CM Punk has every right to ask for the moon and back. And AEW has every right to say no. Here's the thing, though. What was the first big move that AEW did that make you say, ooh, they might be for real? When they introduced Chris Jericho right down the street from where WWE was doing an episode of SmackDown. Okay, let me tell you something. Chris Jericho does not need AEW. AEW needs, and they needed Chris Jericho. They still do. CM Punk does not need AEW. AEW needs him. And to an extent, they still do. Yeah, AEW should focus on building their own stars. I get it. Every Mark and Karen of the wrestling universe is going to say that. But guess what? AEW's 1 year in. They're not building their own stars like they should be. It's a learning curve. I still think they need guys to help get their lesser named talent over. There were some things that they've done that I would have done differently within this first, 9 months in to AEW being on weekly national TV. But I don't have a DeLorean to go back in time and be like, hey, you should have made sure that the Young Bucks go over a Private Party in the tournament. Especially if you weren't gonna have Private Party win the tournament outright. Because you had them beat the Young Bucks. The first night of the tournament. Okay, wow, cool, big shock factor value. That's awesome. But then you had them lose the following week, thus killing the momentum and make me say, okay, why the hell did you have your best tag team, arguably your most popular, well-known tag team, come in and lose right away? That makes zero sense. The match where they had Riho beat Nyla Rose, and become the first women's champion. Okay, great. You just had, a 95-pound girl beat your big monster. Why? I know I'm going off topic here, but CM Punk has every right to ask for X amount of dollars. AEW has every right to say no. They've done that. Do I see Punk going to wrestle for AEW? I want to say no, but I have talked to him. The last time I talked to him was back in February, excuse me, at C2E2, because he was like, I did get an invite to go to see Revolution as a fan. He's like, I don't know if I want to take it. What do you think? I'm like, it's up to you. He's like, I'm probably just going to go home. I have no desire to be there because I just don't want people to start anything. I think for him, just sit down and have a real conversation with the guy. Because I even asked him about the whole WWE thing. Because, like, hey, it's cool that you're doing backstage. Would you be open to wrestling? He goes, I would if they sat down and talked to me. No one's talked to him. No one has really talked to him. And for him to say that, if you can say Punk bullshits a lot or he believes his own ego a lot, whatever. But 9 times out of 10, the guy doesn't lie. He says a form of the truth. So, I mean, maybe if AEW got serious and they had a real conversation with him, do I think AEW needs him? No, but they sure could use him. But, I mean, honestly, at this point, if AEW were to sign CM Punk, what do you think they'd do? Okay, you got to put him in the main event picture. More than likely, put the AEW World title on him. They did that thing. They did it with Jericho. They did it with Mox. Who's a guy in AEW right now, other than Cody, who, and if you bring in a guy like CM Punk, that you'd be like, okay, I can see this guy being the next world champion. Darby Allin's not there yet. He's going to get there, but he's not there yet. Adam Page, who the hell knows what they're doing with him? He was white freaking hot, but now I have no idea what they're doing. Omega, same way. But seriously, look at the AEW roster. Who's a guy right now where you're like, okay, I can see that guy being the next world champion? Brian Cage, maybe, but we'll talk about that later on in the show. But I mean, seriously, and I know I'm ranting as I normally do, but basically my point is, Punk has every right to ask for the moon and back. AEW has every right to say no. I don't see Punk in AEW, but I mean, we'll see what the future holds. I would love for him to be there. I'd mark out if he'd go to AEW or go back to WWE. Of course I would. He's somebody who I consider family. Of course I'd be happy for him if that's what he wants to do, but I just don't see it.
Very nice. Who would like to take this one next?
I'll go ahead and take the ball on this one if you don't mind. I'll be quick too on this because here's what I'm thinking. Does Punk deserve a big cash offer? Absolutely. That's not the problem. Punk, like Nico said, deserves anything and everything. He's busted his ass for years. He's made his mark in the wrestling industry. He's done more in a short time than what people do over a 25-year career. and I completely 100% get that. We've heard rumors for months about, especially a while back, about how they met with, about how they basically gave the Punk the offer over the phone or over a text. They didn't even meet with him in person. And that's what the rumor was, that he was disinterested because it wasn't a face-to-face meeting. It was over the phone or over a text, which is, many people would consider, what I would consider kind of a little bit, disheartening and disrespectful, because I would like to meet with the person who is offering me this big deal and the dates involved in person, so we could discuss it. But if Punk does, would I love to see Punk in AEW? Of course. Anytime you get to see CM Punk on a wrestling program, especially nowadays with him being out of wrestling essentially for 6 years, yeah, of course. Because it's a special treat for anybody, especially Punk fans who have been with him either since 2002, 2007, 2011, whatever. So to me personally, the high asking price is something that, that's all something, I can't say the word, but it's just all it's all subjective at the end of the day. So to me, Punk deserves the asking price, whatever the case may be, just because of the mark he left in the business. I know I'll probably get some heat for that, but I don't really give a shit. So but yeah, that's just my quick take on it, is that Punk deserves the moon and back, like Nico said. And if he comes back, it'll be a treat for every wrestling fan around the world who still believes in CM Punk.
Real quick, the word you're looking for, Ezra, it's not necessarily a word. It's more of a phrase. It's a game of chicken or a game of chess.
Okay.
They want him. He necessarily doesn't need them. The whole text offer thing, I don't know who sent that text. I'm pretty sure it was one of the Bucks, because they've always talked about how they have somewhat of a relationship with him. But it's kind of like, if I were to text you, Ezra, hey man, AEW Revolution's in Chicago, you want to go? Like, if I were to text you, how many times, 9 times out of 10, when I send you a text about a wrestling show, do you really get back to me right away with excitement? Sometimes I literally have to call you, be like, hey, I need to talk to you. Dude, what the flip? If they really wanted him that bad, I'm assuming you pick up the phone and you call a guy. Again, I'm not talking shit about anybody from AEW side, because I don't know what's true and what's not in regards to that. But if it was a text thing, which, of course, Cody just confirmed it, why would you do that? Maybe it's a little bit inexperience from a business standpoint between the parties involved, but in business, why would you send somebody a text offer?
Wild card. What's your take on this whole thing?
Well, you guys make some really good points about Punk. Because he deserves everything that he is requesting from a money standpoint, because of everything he's done in his career. Everybody who knows the name CM Punk knows how good of a wrestler he is, and the best in the world. Best in the world. We all know that. All of us here knows. Nico, especially you know how good CM Punk is. We all do, in the ring, on the mic, in commentary. He does it all. So, having him flying AEW colors, how huge would that be for AEW? And it would give them a huge boost in terms of star power. Does he need it though? Like the rest of the guys says? No, I honestly don't think he needs it. He doesn't really need to prove anything to me, because he obviously decided to walk out on his own terms because of the shit that WWE's essentially been doing to him. Almost killed his passion, really. Would I love to see AEW or CM Punk go to AEW? Sure. Yeah, I'm sure we all would. I think it'd be a definite watch to have him, mingle with the guys in AEW, whether it be Cody, whether it be the Bucks, whether it be Kenny Omega, or any of the new talent there. Having Punk in AEW would be great, but it's not needed right now. I mean, will it happen at some point? I don't know. I mean, at this point right now, if he is enjoying life outside of wrestling, then we should just let him be, because he doesn't really have anything to prove right now. Would it be great to see him back? Yes, I'd be excited. But right now, not like it's a big deal at the moment to me.
Side note, I know we're going way too long on this topic. It's okay. Just real quick. I was thinking devil's advocate here, kind of like what I was saying earlier. Yeah, Punk would be great star power for AEW, but that's the thing. I feel like they have enough with Jericho and with Cody and even with Moxley. But, like, none of their guys, other than MJF, really, are ready to take the ball. That's like a straight up AEW guy.
Yeah.
That's
the
thing.
I'm just gonna end it with this here too, because as much as I would like to see Punk in AEW, like I said, and this is maybe repeating myself here, but he doesn't need to, because of something that you mentioned there, Nico. AEW needs to need to trust guys like MJF or guys like Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, just to name a few.
No Orange Cassidy. No. Sorry.
I'm saying Orange Cassidy on this one. I'm a believer in Orange Cassidy. Freshly squeezed.
The day I
go.
believe in Orange Cassidy is the day I start walking.
All right, so before we get to the next topic, I'll share my thoughts. I'm not going to keep it too long, but in short, yeah, absolutely. Punk should be a wanted man for any wrestling promotion, be it AEW, New Japan, ROH, you name it. And honestly, I think even Fox had a plan with the whole WWE Backstage. I mean, this could be its own topic on its own, but I think that they had a plan for him to hopefully eventually, in their opinion, get back into regular WWE TV by doing this Backstage show and having a relaxed schedule and getting paid high just to host a show that was very low rated on a network most people probably don't watch. Sorry, FS1. But anyways, I wish that, AEW and CM Punk could work out something that would be in both of their favors. But even Cody noted this when he did speak out about it. He said he wanted CM Punk when he's passionate about doing that. He is worth a lot of money. He definitely could be, he could probably bargain more than other wrestlers could dream of bargaining to be part of a promotion. But yeah, like Brock Lesnar, for example, very talented individual. I like seeing him when he is around and actually putting on his A game, but you could tell he isn't as motivated as he was maybe during his first run, at least initially. So that's kind of the thing. I don't want to see CM Punk in a similar attitude with Brock Lesnar. I want him to be back in wrestling if and when he is motivated to do so and actually be able to put on a show. I think that, CM Punk would bring on some big ratings if he were to come on to AEW. I think that it would generate a lot of buzz. How long and how much, that would have to be determined if that were to ever happen. But for right now, AEW, I think, is doing a solid job on its own, developing new stars like Darby Allin, MJF. We can name a lot. They're bringing guys like Brian Cage and Lance Archer to the limelight. I know they've been part of other promotions, but they're on a big mainstream cable television network. So I think that's pretty awesome. But in short, I'm just going to say I would love for CM Punk to maybe come to AEW one day, but if it doesn't happen, so be it. But, that's something that those two would have to work on, and maybe one day we can see it. But I digress. And going on to the next topic, though, we are going to talk a little more about AEW. It's last night on Fight for the Fallen, we saw the title match finally between Jon Moxley and Brian Cage, and it had a bit of a controversial ending. A few people weren't satisfied with it, and some were quite satisfied with its storylines. Taz ended up throwing in the towel for Brian Cage because he was in fear that his arm would literally been broken. So who would like to start this off with their thoughts on what they thought of this match from last night's Dynamite? Nico?
Yeah, I'll go. Real quick though, back to the Punk thing. If you don't believe what I'm saying earlier, watch CM Punk versus Samoa Joe 1. It's on YouTube. Tomorrow's the 9-year anniversary of CM Punk versus John Cena Money in the Bank 2011. Watch that match, and then tell me whether this guy is one of the best of his generation and doesn't deserve the asking price that he wants. Okay, but on to this next topic. Moxley versus Brian Cage. Good match. Was better than what I originally anticipated. I like what they did with the story. I was a little shocked. I even tweeted, what was that? Like, what did I just witness? But after watching it back, I literally had to rewatch the finish, like the last 2 minutes of it, leading into the finish, and then the actual, Taz throwing in the towel. And I was like, okay, I think that makes sense. But while it makes sense, I kind of also wish Taz would have waited to give Brian the FTW World title. Like, they could have done that next week after the fact. Because they'd have been like, you know what, Brian? You went toe-to-toe with the AEW World Champion and you didn't tap. You are still the baddest mother effer in the world. Here is the FTW World Heavyweight Championship. Boom. You are still a champion. They could have done something like that. That to me would have been cool. That to me would have been like, what? Okay, this is some real heat. That would have been cool. They didn't go that route. Apparently they're going to do Brian Cage versus Darby now. They're going to finish that storyline. Okay, cool, whatever. Should be good. You get big man, you get little man. David versus Goliath. Those matches are always fun to watch, especially if you got two guys who can do what they need to do from a physical standpoint. I like the finish also from Moxley's point of view, because what it does, it shows that he can be versatile and he can be a very what's the word I'm looking for? A resourceful champion. While I didn't like the fact that the match all of a sudden turned into a hardcore match when Cage threw Moxley onto the chair, I was like, oh, when did this match become no DQ? I didn't know that. Okay, whatever. But, Moxley pulling out, the MMA style, grappling and then getting him with the armbar, that to me was cool. The promo that Moxley cut before the match early in the show was a good-ass promo. Go watch it back. Because it proved that Moxley could be a badass motherfucker. Okay, great. I liked it from Moxley's point of view because it made him look, strong and versatile and a resourceful champion, like I said. Brian's Cage point of view, not so much. Maybe they'll give me another reason to eat my words in the coming weeks. We'll see. But overall, good match. I enjoyed it. And that's all I got to say.
Very nice. Who would like to take this next? EJB?
Yeah, I was able to watch everything this morning. Midnight's job sucks, but whatever. I've watched the match this morning, and it was a really good match. It was very physical, as expected. Came out of the gate swinging. I didn't expect a full-on chain side headlock takeover, head scissors, 1-2 kick-out bullshit. I didn't expect that at all. So exactly as I expected. It was brutal, physical. It was a brawl. I do agree with Nico on how they, why did it go suddenly to a no DQ match? It kind of perplexed me. And unfortunately, that's been a problem for AEW, which is something I'll discuss on a later podcast, the blatant disregard for rules and the refereeing and all this stuff. That's a whole different ballgame. But the match was great. They really took it to the limit on everything they could do. I thought even though it shouldn't have happened, the suplex on the chair I thought was a great spot. The ending, that's where I was a little bit it almost disconnected me from the match, was when they threw in the towel. I didn't understand it at first But then I took another look back at it, and it made sense. Because it kept Cage somewhat strong in the sense that he did not tap out. That Taz was looking out for not only his I wouldn't say friend, but his client. He's looking out for his moneymaker. That's what it is. He's looking out for his moneymaker in a sense. So, the throwing in the towel did make sense in that retrospect. It was cool to see Darby come back and attack Cage. So, and now it sets up Darby and Cage, Darby and Cage is gonna be a great match. Dave versus Goliath, like Nico said. But Darby works good with bigger guys, and we've seen that in the past. So, and also Moxley, he looked really good last night, showing off his technical aspects. Especially with the armbar, working on that previously torn tricep of Cage. Thought he did an awesome job. The transitions into the submission holds were great. You can tell his MMA training that he's been doing has been really, really, really showing. So overall, great match. The finish was good. Finish actually made sense after looking at it one more time. That's all I got to say about that. And of course, congratulations to Mox on retaining.
All right, Wildcard, what's your take on this match?
Brian Cage is a pretty good big man for the most part. I've seen the guy wrestle quite a few times. Kind of a newish kind of fan to him. But I was very impressed with how he performed at AEW. But, it didn't really surprise me. I've watched him in Impact Wrestling. And for like I said, for a big guy, he can definitely go. And having a match with Moxley just helped elevate his game to much bigger things in AEW. Didn't really surprise me that Mox was gonna retain the title. It just, especially with the giveaway for me was when he got the FTW title. I think Nico touched on this, but it just didn't really make sense to give him the title before his world title match, because that essentially, in an indirect way, gave away the result of it. So, I just kind of felt like, okay, he's got a title of his own, so he doesn't necessarily need the world title, because, if he were to lose the world title, which he did, he still has his FTW title. But I thought the match was really good. It was definitely brawling. It was a good brawl for the most part. But the ending was a little bit of I was a little iffy about that ending, just because I was just like, why would you want to throw the towel in just like that? But from a storyline standpoint, it actually did make sense, because I kind of felt, especially with him coming off of an arm injury like he had earlier. I thought that was an interesting way of ending it, but in a way that kind of just gave it a nice little giveaway to the match. But, and then seeing Darby come back, which was great. Can't wait to see what he has in store for Brian Cage for their next feud. But I was really happy with the match. Mox looks great. Cage looked great. Everybody looked good in that match. And, can't wait to see what happens afterwards.
Real quick, Steve-O, before you go, because I got to take off. One thing that I wish they would have did differently, now that I think about it after hearing everybody talk, when Taz throws in the towel and Brian gets up and Taz is consoling him, why did they have Brian jump Mox from behind? I know they did it to reintroduce Darby, but what I wish they would have did, I wish Taz would have jumped him from behind, and then somehow Darby comes out, because it still made Brian look weak. Again, when Darby runs him off, it makes Brian look weak. Okay, that's it. I gotta go.
Not a problem, Nico. We'll see you a little later. But yeah, I'm gonna get to my thoughts. I do like Brian Cage. He's a great big man. I think he's got some very good talent. The match last night was pretty good. What I wouldn't say was one of the greatest matches in AEW, but I enjoyed it for the most part. At first, I'm kind of like you guys. I thought I was like taken aback by the ending. I was like, what the hell just happened? did they really make him look weak? But then, after hearing about it, thinking about it, reading Taz's tweet about it, saying that he did it for a reason, and he would do it again if he had to repeat the situation. Brian Cage previously did have an injury, and he was afraid that with Moxley applying that finisher onto him, that he was going to put him back into the hospital and maybe take more time off. So that's why he threw in the towel. But that being said, I'm going to echo Wildcard and Nico's thoughts, and I briefly mentioned it last week. I think that awarding the FTW title last week before this title match wasn't a very good idea, just because I was already not assuming that Moxley wasn't going to drop the title as is, but just that kind of sealed the stamp, in my personal opinion, that, okay, he's not winning the world title from Jon Moxley on Fight for the Fallen. But, in short, I'm just going to say that, I'm okay with this. I could forgive this. But, yeah, they do need to be careful with how they're handling their big men. Like with Brody Lee, I think that was fine. I was fine with Jon Moxley having him, submit at Double or Nothing and having him, pass out to Moxley's finisher. But, Lance Archer also lost to Cody Rhodes, after all that momentum, and he's kind of lost a bit of steam. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen to Brian. I don't think it will. We'll have to see how the Darby Allin feud plays out, because that's looking to be what we're going with next with AEW. But, Jon Moxley is a strong-looking champ at least, and they're doing a good job with his title reign. So, yeah. Now for our next segment, it's reaching out to the community. It's the Cosplayer of the Week segment. And this week's cosplayer is a very familiar face to this page. His name is Tim Bruckman. He's been cosplaying ever since the first WWE Cosplay Day event way back in 2013. He's been to all but one of them, and he's also appeared at StarCast as well as Wizard World, and has been featured on the page many times.
He's definitely a good brother to us, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Tim's first started cosplaying at Anime Central 2011, and that is the first time he's actually attended a convention. Wildcard, would you like to get the next one?
Sure, I got you. So Tim first started cosplaying at Anime Central.
You repeat.
Oh, did I repeat that one? Oh,
next
shit.
line.
All right. Okay. I'm losing track of my shit here. All right, well, you got to edit this out here. Tim got into wrestling at a very young age. He started playing WWE Raw at his cousin's house on his Sega Genesis, and was hooked ever since. Let's see. He watched the syndicated WWF Superstars Saturday morning show religiously, and would rent videotapes at local video stores such as Blockbuster or Euclid Video. 90s kid reference right there, if anybody knows what Blockbuster is. Anyway, he got satellite back in late 1999 and ran into an episode of Sunday Night Heat and started watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown ever since then.
EJV, would you like to read the next line?
No, I won't. Yes, I will. Man, this guy's got a long list of favorite wrestlers, let me tell you. His favorite wrestlers include the Mean Street Posse, Too Cool, D'Lo Brown, Dexter Lumis, Orange Cassidy, Jungle Boy, MGF. I don't know how that's his favorite wrestler. He's an asshole. AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Damian Sandow, Kevin Owens, Jon Moxley, Undertaker, Kane, Shawn Michaels, Rob Van Dam, Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, Tajiri, William Regal, Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bray Wyatt, Breezango, and many more. I don't know how there can be more than that, but
yeah. That's an extensive list there. Yeah.
Yeah. So his signature cosplays are mostly wrestling related, as he says it's the easiest and most fun to cosplay. I can agree with that. You make a lot of cosplays with wrestling. But his main one for a time was Damian Sandow. which he also refers to as Damien A. Sandow. But he used him for a few years. He tries to use cosplays once, but if he really enjoys the characters, he will continue to use them until he gets tired of doing them repeatedly, unless he can come up with new ideas. Other signature cosplays include John Cena, the Word Life version. He used that at ASEN. I believe he used it at Wizard World too. Oh, and also he used it at StarCast, and he's also been Tyler Breeze as well, the fashion police version.
Yeah. If you actually watch our last cosplay gathering at the last year's ASIN in 2019, he actually does a really good Tyler Breeze cosplay, and there was a little skit that he did with one of our other fellow cosplayer friends in the Jushin Thunder Liger cosplay. So that's actually it was actually pretty dope. I thought that was really cool to see that. So definitely watch that if you guys have a chance to. But Tim actually has a message that he wanted to share about Too Sweet Cosplay, and I quote, "I would like to say thank you to Too Sweet Cosplay for creating not only Too Sweet Cosplay, but WWE photo shoots, as well as it gives me something to look forward to and to enjoy spending time with those who have a passion for not just wrestling, but for cosplay as well."
Very nice, Tim. Yeah, thank you very much for the kind words.
Yeah.
So we're going to show off some of Tim's cosplays right now. We are now back. So, that was Tim. Thank you, Tim, for being showcased on the page. We're glad to have you on board. And now for you out in the cosplay community, don't forget to submit your cosplay of the week by messaging us at the Too Sweet Cosplay Facebook page.
Wait for it. Send us your stuff. Okay, I had to say that.
Very nice. Yeah, make sure to send us your stuff. We got a good list of cosplayers already, but we could always use some more, so be sure to send it out to us here at Too Sweet Cosplay on Facebook. So
send us your stuff. Yeah.
So we are on our final segment. We're going to do something a little different. I know we usually do a predictions video separately, but we're going to do some Extreme Rules, the horror show at Extreme Rules quick picks for this upcoming Sunday's pay-per-view. And
I shunned at the fact that they're still calling this the horror show. I don't know. Well, I mean, at least it gives the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view a little more credibility, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. Still no.
Not a chance.
Not a chance there. Well, okay.
Although it was a pretty good show, though, to be honest, with Samoa Joe versus Lesnar, but that's a different topic. So we're just gonna do some quick picks. We're not gonna get into full details.
No.
We're gonna just read off the list. There's gonna be like one or two things we might just talk a little more in detail about, but we're just gonna kind of just make our predictions and then go forward and give our anticipation level for the show. So starting off, the first match, I assume will be the first match, is going to be for the United States Championship. It's going to be Apollo Crews versus MVP. Crews is putting the U.S. title on the line. What is your guys' pick for this one?
I say Cruz is going to retain.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go with MVP taking the title. I think that it's going to add credibility to him and Lashley's little group going, and might be a faction if Cedric Alexander joins. EJV, what's your take?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go with you, Steve. I was thinking Apollo Crews, but I'm gonna go with MVP, just because, like you said, it's gonna add credibility to the group, and also I think that MVP, he's been with the company for a little bit, and I think it's time for him to get another title. It's been a while.
Yeah, likewise.
I honestly wouldn't be mad if MVP won the title, though. Especially, the new look of that title. It does kind of match well with MVP right now, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So the second match we're gonna do a quick pick on is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's champion Bayley taking on Nikki Cross. Who are you guys picking?
Let's see here. I'm gonna go with Bayley, just because they've been riding so high with her with this heel gimmick, which has finally worked for her. I think they're gonna keep rolling with her being a double champion right now. So Bayley for the win on this one. Sorry, Nikki.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Bayley, she's gonna go into SummerSlam as champion. She's been champion for so long. I just can't see her losing at a secondary show like this. Well, but I mean, it could happen, but I don't think so. Not this time. Wild card.
I would love to see Nikki Cross win. I think she definitely deserves it. But it just doesn't really show any kind of signs that they're going to put the title on her, and especially now with Becky still missing in action for obvious reasons, and of course the news of Charlotte potentially taking some time off there. They definitely need some star power in the women's division, and so far Bayley's kind of providing that right now. So I say that Bayley's going to retain. She's going to ride it out for quite some time.
Absolutely, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
The next match now is going to be a weird horror show, quote unquote, type of match. It's the eye for an eye match between Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins.
I was gonna say this is. I know that this is good. It's supposed to be a quick pick. I'll try to be brief about this, but I am very interested in seeing how this is gonna play out. Right now, I mean, we've seen what a cinematic match is going to be like, especially with the the Boneyard match, the Firefly Funhouse, an eye for an eye match. God knows what they're going to do with this. I have no idea what kind of approach they're going to go with this. I'm assuming that they're going to try to make it as entertaining as possible, but still, I feel like it's going to be cringeworthy to a certain degree. I honestly don't know who to pick in this situation, but I'm just gonna say Seth Rollins, just because I think I've heard rumors of about Rey Mysterio, I guess not being not under WWE contract anymore. So, but I feel like that I'm just gonna say Rollins on this one.
EJV, what's your take?
I don't even know where to begin. I know we're making this brief. I'm just gonna say Rey Mysterio, just because of how the feud is built up. That's all I'm gonna go with. I'm not even gonna talk about the specific of the match, about how they're gonna pull this dumb bullshit off.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with Mysterio, and I'm leaving it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really don't care. Honestly, I'm just gonna be honest with everybody here. I don't really care.
I mean, so I'm gonna give it credit. I have been enjoying Rey and Seth's feud and the inclusion of Dominic. Things got a little derailed because Austin Theory's out for
obvious reasons.
But we'll spare that. But I have been enjoying the feud. But yeah, this whole the rumor is they're gonna do PG in this just to make it happen. But I'm just gonna predict for now, just because of the rumor of Rey's contract, I'm just going to go with Seth Rollins winning. I don't know if Rey will re-sign, but that could be discussed a little later, I guess. Yeah. Next match, I think this one's just glaringly obvious. which we can talk a little bit more about what the stipulation will be when they announce it. But it's going to be Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against Dolph Ziggler. I'm just going to stay really quick. Drew McIntyre is going to win. The stipulation, Dolph is saying it is something that new that we haven't seen before, but I don't know. I'm just predicting it's going to be something like, I don't know, he gets Robert Roode or some allies to surround the ring to beat up who's going to overpower them. As much as Dolph has talent, I just don't see him being a credible challenger, especially losing so many matches for the title. What do you guys think?
Drew has been a great WWE champion. I think ever since he won the title, he hasn't really shown that any kind of detriment to the title. I mean, I feel like that he's done a great job with it. I can't really see Dolph running with the title, even with this whole stipulation thing. I don't know what they're going to actually go with that, but it's probably going to be something stupid. But I am just going to say Drew's going to retain.
Okay. EJV?
I don't know about the stipulation. I'm probably think it's going to be something, even though it says there's nothing, like you said, it's something that we haven't seen before. But personally, I don't know what that could be. I mean, we've virtually seen every type of, stipulation in every company imaginable, so who knows? But I'm going to go with Drew just because I feel like they've been running so hot with him lately, and they've been building him so high. I just don't see him losing the title anytime soon, especially with Ziggler, like Andy said, not being a credible threat because of all the losses he's taken over the past couple months. So definitely got to go with Drew McIntyre to win this one.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement on Drew. So now this match it's not listed on WWE's website. They kind of like set it up on SmackDown last week, so I just threw it in for the hell of it, just for us to make a prediction on. Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy in the Barroom Brawl. You guys have any prediction on who will win this one? I'm gonna go with Jeff Hardy just because Sheamus won the last one.
That actually could be entertaining. I think that out of the match, that could be pretty entertaining. I could see that happening. But I'm just going to say Jeff Hardy for this one. But I could see it as probably one of the more interesting matches to watch.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I agree that that Hangman or not Hangman. I'm thinking of bar. I automatically think of Hangman. Who knows? It might even be cross promotion. Might see Hangman in the corner of the bar while Jeff and him were brawling. That would be funny. Definitely, I agree. Jeff Hardy's going to win this one just because of the way like I said, the way the storyline's been going, the way the match series has been built. I think Jeff's going to win it because Sheamus won the last one, and I think it's going to be the more entertaining ones, probably the ones that'll perk my interest a little bit more than the other 3 or 4 that's on this card beforehand.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think it has potential to be entertaining. The story has been pretty solid, so we'll see what happens here.
Just watch it out trumps the eye for an eye match.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Now here's another match I think that is actually pretty interesting, and it's been having a pretty good build. It's a Raw Women's Championship match. Champion Asuka taking on Sasha Banks. Will she become Sasha 2 belts or those straps, or will she just only be a women's tag team champion still by the end of the show? What do you guys think?
Andy, go first. We know how much you love the boss.
I was gonna say, do you want my honest answer, or do you want my biased answer?
Honest.
All right, honesty. This should be a fun match. This should be a good match. Just outside of the whole fandom of Sasha Banks, you guys know about that already. But I was gonna say that sorry guys. But I was gonna say just a quick pick. I'm gonna go with Sasha on this, not for biased reasons, but I can potentially see. Shut up, E. All right. I could potentially see her and Bayley kind of running, taking over the women's division as double champions there too. How sick would that be? if they actually did put the belt on her, and then she would have the Raw Women's title and a tag title, and then Bayley would have the SmackDown Women's title and a tag title on her. That's complete domination right there. So I'm just gonna say the Boss.
That would be pretty epic. Another dudes with attitude, or female take on dudes with attitude, or the two-man power trip. Do you see that possibly happening, AJV, or do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. They've been building Sasha really strong the past last couple weeks, especially with her appearances in NXT against, Io Shirai and all that. They've been building her really, really hot, and that's really good for. They need somebody strong with the women's division, like I said, with Sasha or with Charlotte being gone, Becky being gone, and Ronda nowhere to be found. So it's a perfect idea. I think the perfect idea would be to put the title on Sasha. Will they pull the trigger? Don't know, but I am going to go with Sasha Banks on this one to be Sasha 2 belts.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it really depends to me, like, if they're going to actually, like, have what kind of WrestleMania match they're going to have. But I think Asuka's going to retain it personally. I mean, I'd be all for the whole, women's domination, like, because we've never seen something like that within the WWE. It would be cool if, Sasha Bayley had both, major brands titles and then, of course, the women's tag titles. But I don't know, and especially if they're hinting that Kairi Sane is going to have her match with Asuka, like if she does retain, I think for that reason alone, they're just going to have Asuka retain and then build some friction between Bayley and Sasha for their inevitable one-on-one match that they've been long teasing. So I'm going to go against the grain on this one.
Yeah.
So now we're on the final main event. So we have the non-title swamp match between Universal Champion Braun Strowman taking on Bray Wyatt in his Eater of Worlds form. And so two questions to have during this match is, one, will we see The Fiend make some kind of a cameo during this cinematic bout? And two, do you think Otis could be cashing in his Money in the Bank despite this being a non-title match?
And question number 3. Will this be more entertaining than the Twitter feud between Skid Row singer Sebastian Bach and Chris Jericho? I'll be here all week. I don't think Otis will cash in during this. I think they're saving that for an actual in-studio thing. That's just my opinion on that. I think they're waiting for to go something for more on the Performance Center stuff. I don't think they're going to do that during a cinematic match. I mean, it is possible with WWE's way of booking, they'll probably pull the trigger on something like that and make it just awkward and weird, maybe. But who knows? Will the Fiend appear? I don't think so. I think this is going to be full Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt. I think this is going to be just him and Braun battling it out because I think they're going to save any appearances of the Fiend for their final encounter at SummerSlam. I think that's what it seems like they're building to. So I'm going to go. So definitely, I don't see the Fiend appearing either. But as far as the match goes, come on, Strowman. It's right in front of our faces. It's blatant. It's obvious. Strowman to retain. Then it sets up for the Fiend to start coming after Strowman and possibly even win the title at SummerSlam.
All right, wild card. What's your take on this one?
I'll be very quick with this. No on Otis, and yes, I think the Fiend will make some kind of appearance in this because knowing WWE, they want to throw some kind of twist in this swamp match. So, but you can hear the excitement in my voice when I hear that, or when I even talk about this. Yeah, I do feel like with Otis that they're gonna try to save it for something a little bit more live. Possibly, an episode of SmackDown I can see, Raw, I don't know, but not for something like this. So I feel like, they're going to have to save it for something a little bit more live, I guess. So, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, and I'm going to be brief with my final thought here. I could see some kind of short cameo appearance by Otis for shits and giggles, but I don't think he'll actually cash in. I think maybe he'll be like scuba diving in the swamp and then he'll pop up and then they just throw him to the side or some BS. And Yeah, I think that Braun Strowman's going to win this one, setting up for Fiend versus Strowman at SummerSlam for the big showdown, and where I think most likely Bray will become Universal Champion again in the form of the Fiend. I don't know, I don't know if this is going to have one of those endings where it is someone wins, or it's kind of like the whole John Cena versus the Fiend, where it's like that weird ending where you don't really know, okay, he won or whatever. But I guess if we're going to say who stands tall at the end, Braun Strowman will take out Bray Wyatt, Eater of Worlds version, and maybe we'll see some kind of weird cinematic theme with the Fiend laughing to close out the show. That's really all I can say about that. So before we close out the show, 1 to 10, what would you guys rate your excitement level for the horror show at Extreme Rules?
You go first.
Probably I'm gonna be generous here, and I'm gonna give it a 6, only because of the Sasha Asuka match, and and I have to say probably the Barber Brawl and Strowman and Bray Wyatt. I think the only reason I'm interested in Strowman and Bray Wyatt because I'm a mark for the Eater Worlds gimmick, so I love that gimmick to death, and I was excited when they brought it back. So yeah, I'll give it a 6 just based on those 3 matches. The other matches are kind of forgettable. Guy for an eye match, I don't know how they're gonna pull that off, and I'm still kind of a little bit hesitant on watching it just because I think it's gonna be pretty stupid on how they do it, but that's just me. But yeah, I give it a 6.
I had to really look at the match list to see if I could offer any kind of generosity to this, but there's only like 2 matches on the card that interest me the most, and I am not going to be as generous. I'm going to go with a 1.5 on this one. That's the excitement level of this, because it's no secret how much I dislike the name of it, and I think the card basically represents the quality of the show. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm sorry to all you WWE marks out there, but I'm giving it a 1.5.
Well, I'm going to agree with EJV and say 6. I have a little more, only slightly more excitement for this than I did have for Backlash, mostly thanks to the women's title matches. Jeff Hardy and Sheamus has been a good feud. I'm scared to see how this eye for an eye match goes, just because I think it could either be extreme cringe, or maybe they'll make it look cool and break PG boundaries, but I kind of doubt that. But yeah, and I don't know why they're trying to make this like some kind of Halloween Havoc wannabe show, it feels like, but I'm just going to go with 6 out of 10, being a little generous here, but
yeah, you guys are being pretty generous about this here.
And finally, we're going to have the show close out with Nico's Extreme Rules predictions as well. He's going to give his thoughts in this separate video, but we want to thank you all for tuning in and watching this edition of Too Sweet Converse. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And please include any feedback on things you'd like to see in future episodes, such as Slammiversary is also this weekend, but we decided to hold off talk about it since only a few of us follow the product, EJV mostly.
Yeah, I've been following more recently over the past couple months, 2 years, but I'm excited because it involves a lot of other things, going on, including Countdown to Fucktown tomorrow night, or shall we say tonight, whenever this goes up, on youtube.com/Talking Shop Podcast. Check it out.
Very nice. And finally, follow us at Too Sweet Cosplay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So that's pretty much all we have for this week's show. Thank you again for tuning in.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again. We appreciate you guys watching, and we hope you all have a too sweet weekend.
What's up, everybody? How are you? Nico here. Just gonna do my quick pick predictions for Extreme Rules, the horror show. First match, MVP versus Apollo Crews for the WWE United States Championship. My heart says MVP, but my brain says Apollo. Maybe, but I'll go with MVP because maybe this could lead to whatever, like, new version of the Nation of Domination that they've been teasing with MVP, Lashley, Cedric Alexander, maybe Apollo Crews, and maybe Ricochet. Also, they've been kind of teasing it for weeks. MVP did something similar to this with Lashley and a wrestler by the name of Kenny King when they were in Impact together a few years ago. So I could see them doing something similar to that, almost like Nation of Domination-esque. But I'm going to go with MVP just to see, because I think that might further the storyline of what they're doing with him, Lashley, Apollo Crews, Cedric Alexander, and Ricochet. But we will see. On to the next match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. You got Nikki Cross, the challenger, against Bayley, the champion. I'm going to go with Bayley, as much as I would love to see Nikki Cross win a singles title in WWE. I think she deserves it. Bayley, to me, is the best thing WWE has going right now on their weekly programming. What she's doing with Sasha, I think, is the best thing WWE has going right now. I was the biggest critic of them actually turning Bayley heel back at the end of last year. I remember I was in the hospital, and I was watching SmackDown in my hospital room when, she came out and, destroyed the Bayley buddies or whatever the, wacky inflatable tube men were called for her. And I was like, I just don't know how I feel about Bayley being a heel. She was super over as a babyface, especially with merchandise, but she's converted me. And what she's doing right now with Sasha, I think is the best thing going on weekly WWE programming. Plus, it looks like they're teasing a little bit of a dissension almost between, Nikki Cross and her partner Alexa Bliss. Maybe they break them up with Bliss going full heel on Nikki. I don't know. I think it might be a little too early to pull that trigger. But regardless, I see Bayley retaining the SmackDown Women's title. Into the next one. The eye for an eye match. Ojo para ojo. Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. Interested to see how they do this match. I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of those cinematic type matches. But Rey's a great worker. Seth is a great worker. So I have no doubt whatever they come up with is going to be perfectly fine. I think Rey gets the win, even though there's rumors that his current contract with WWE is up right now, and he's pretty much there on a handshake deal. I don't know how true that is, but that could be true that he just there to help get his son Dominic ready to wrestle. I don't know. But I like the idea of Seth being the Messiah, but yet constantly losing and almost going mad. I kind of like that idea because regardless, in a couple of months, towards the end of this year, Seth is going to be taking some time off for obvious reasons in his personal life. But I'm going to go at Rey. But I wouldn't be surprised if Seth does pull out the win. Maybe that forces Dominic to get in the ring for a one-on-one match with Seth. I don't know, honestly, how to play this. But whatever Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio do is going to be fine. They're two of the best in their era. Whatever they come up with, they're going to work it into magic, and it's going to be fine. The next one, WWE Championship, Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre, with a stipulation to the match yet to be announced. honestly don't know what the stipulation is going to be. Frankly, I don't really care. I'm pretty sure they're going to do some type of cinematic screwy thing. But Drew versus Dolph should be a good match, whatever they decide to come up with. I fully expect Drew McIntyre to retain. He's been a great WWE champion. He just surpassed the 100-day mark as champion about a week and a half ago. I think he's done a very commendable job despite everything going on. Yeah, by the way, sorry about my eyes, guys. I'm just very tired. I had some personal things going on, which is why I had to leave the show early yesterday. Okay, now we're on to the bar room brawl, or whatever they're calling this. Fight in the tavern between an Irishman and a recovering alcoholic. No, I'm just kidding. Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy. I'm actually really interested and excited to see what they do with this. Those of you who know me know I'm a huge Jeff Hardy fan. Always have been. Was really looking forward to see what they're doing with this storyline of kind of a redemption story for him. There's rumors that, his contract is coming up soon and he's not re-signing. So this is the way to, bury him and write him off TV so he can go elsewhere. Most likely AEW with his brother Matt. But I'm hoping that is not the case. I would really love to see Jeff Hardy get at least one more run, if not at the WWE Championship or Universal Championship, just any run at a title, a real good run. So I'm gonna go with Jeff Hardy, just because I think he needs to win more in this match against Sheamus. Now on to the Raw Women's Championship match. Is the next match on the rumored card here as of right now. Asuka defending the Raw Women's Championship against the boss, Sasha Banks, the legit boss. Excuse me. Sorry, Andy. I'm going to go Asuka. I think what she's been doing on WWE programming ever since she got the Raw Women's title. Well, even before that, like in the middle of this when this pandemic first hit, Asuka's been very entertaining. She's supposedly won over backstage personnel with her personality and the way she's been carrying herself. So I'm going to go with Asuka, mainly because I don't see Sasha being the one to take the belt off of her. Maybe that could lead into whatever they want to do with Sasha Banks and Bayley going into the rest of the summer with SummerSlam next month. I don't think Sasha needs a singles title. I know Bayley has a singles title and a tag title, but I don't think Sasha needs that. But we'll wait and see. If they were to go that route and actually put the Raw Women's title on Sasha, I'd be fine with it. But like I said, I think Asuka's killing it right now. No reason to take the belt off of her. Plus, with the rumors that maybe Asuka's tag team partner, Kairi Sane, possibly leaving the WWE at some point next month to go back to Japan. She wants one match with Asuka. Why not, title versus career, Raw Women's Championship on the line between Asuka and Kairi Sane. We'll have to wait and see after that. I think that's pretty interesting. So with that, I'm going to go with Asuka retaining the WWE Raw Women's Championship. All right, the main event, the Swamp Yard match. Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman. This should be pretty interesting because while it's a very cinematic match, if you paid attention last week when Braun sort of accepted and made this challenge to Bray and kind of accepted it at the same time, it looked like Braun was going a little bit more the black sheep, almost kind of like turning heel ish during this whole feud. He's kind of like metamorphosing back to his old persona. His promo a few weeks ago was actually very good, which honestly, Braun to me as a babyface has not been very good, especially on his promos. But we'll have to wait and see. I fully expect Braun to keep to win this match. There's my understanding the WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship is not on the line in this match, so it's a non-title match. All the more reason for Braun to win, but then again, maybe we'll see, Bray pull it out because this is technically his environment. But I don't fully see Bray winning until The Fiend, fights the Monster Among Men. Maybe The Fiend makes an appearance in this match. Maybe not. I'm not quite sure. I don't think it necessarily needs it. It's going to be a cinematic match as it is already. That's too many bells and whistles. But I'll go with Braun Strowman just because even though the title's not on the line, he is technically a champion, and you got to make the champion look strong. So I'm going to go with Braun Strowman. And in regards to how excited I am for this pay-per-view, I'm going to say about a 4. I'm interested to see what they do with the two women's championship matches, and I'm interested to see what they do with the eye for an eye match between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. Like I said earlier, what I think might happen in regards to all those matches. But I just want to see. So those are the 3 matches that kind of interest me the most. Alright guys, those are my picks. Enjoy Extreme Rules, the horror show. God, that makes Great Balls of Fire look and sound like an amazing pay-per-view name. Take care, guys. Thanks for listening to the show. Please send us your stuff. Follow us on social media at 2Sweet Cosplay on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitter. You can follow me on my personal Twitter account at True_Nico. Let's talk some wrestling and shoot the shiznit. But alright guys, thanks so much for watching our show. As always, we love and appreciate your continued support, and we will see you guys next week. Too sweet.